Hey guys, welcome back to another video. A new year just started, so here's our setup for the year 2022. As I'm continuing on the same journal, I'm not going to do the regular setup which includes your grid spacing and key. I'm just going to add the pages that I really require for the next year, like your birthdays and events and calendar. And as you can see, I already have my sketch done. The lines that you see at the right corner, I'm going to cut these out in a Dutch door setup. For the cutting, I'm just going to use this pencil cutter and of course something to put underneath the paper so it doesn't cut through. I'm simply going to remove the lines from happy, and then from new, then year, and then 2022. For the cutting, a lot of people wonder how you do it in like the first go. It's just that you need to keep the grip tight on both your cutter as well as the scale. So here's how it looks after the cutting. I'm just adding some tape to help all the papers lay flat. And why I'm doing this on the hand is so some of the stickiness goes away, and so the paper wouldn't be ruined when I take off the tape. Now coming to the design, I'm just going to make these kind of bubbles in the same way on the right page as well. I've used 3 colors, and I'm just going to show you what 3 colors I used. These are the watercolor brushes that I'll be using. First of all, I'm just directly going with the blue. This is a light blue shade, and it can vary with how much paint or water you're using. For the second color, I'm using this green, which is not actually a very dark green, but a bright green color, and of course it varies along with your water quantity and your paint as well. For the third color, I'm mixing both blue and green, and I tried to keep it consistent with the equal amount of blue and green, but I think I added green a little bit more. Now coming to the setup, I'm just going to make this one cracker firework. I don't know what to call it, but I'm just going to make a single one here and then add some shine with the same blue, green, and then also some yellow to give it a shiny effect. Now once I'm satisfied with it, I'm moving on to these bubbles, or the faded lights. I think I was going for bubbles, but they somehow turned into the faded lights. I'm not sure what I did, but I just made these small circles and varied them in size as well as some shades. Sometimes I kept the shade a little lighter, and sometimes I kept it a bit dark, but it varied. After doing the simple circles, I just removed the paint with the help of a tissue paper in order to give it a lighter effect. Firstly, I'm just using this green shade that I made with both the green and blue, and after that I'm going to use the blue and then the green and make same circles with varied size. So once I was done with the bigger circles, I'm just filling up the space with these smaller circles and with of course all the 3 colors. And then I think the first color was a bit too little for the page, so I added a bit more circles of that shade. Now once I'm done with the main page, I'm just going to let it dry, and moving on to the first page that I had already prepared, I'm just writing this code that I had already written with the pencil into a pointed look. And it says that all that has happened is in the past and will never return. All we can do is rectify it either in the present or in the future, but the sooner the better. And then for this right page, I'm just writing Happy New Year 2022. And of course I thought that the pointer was a bit too thin, so I'm just getting it a little bit more bold. And of course you can do it a lot more bold as well, but I wanted to give it a very simple look, so I kept it very light. Here's the complete look of the first page of the setup. Now I'm moving on to the second page, and I just added events and birthdays onto this page because I think this is something that I really need, since I'm really bad at remembering birthdays and dates overall. So I really needed this page to remember everything. Now before adding watercolors to the paper, I just kept a paper beneath it so the watercolor wouldn't go or leak onto the other page and ruin that page as well. So you can use any page underneath it. I just used the page that I cut from the other side in the beginning of the video. So you can use the same page or you can use any other page, whatever you like. So for this I'm going to make 12 bubbles, one for every month, and I'm of course using all the 3 colors, and it means 4 of each color. And I'm just going to make these 12 bubbles onto the left side and not onto the other pages next to birthdays. I think that would be a bit too much overall look, so I just kept it at one page. And then once I'm done with this, I just left it to dry and would write the months at the end of the video. Coming on to the next page, I literally couldn't make this content planner previous year, and I had so much trouble remembering all the content that I had already planned. And also for the other page, I made a painting ideas page because I have a million ideas in my phone directory or in my head, and I just can't remember it when the time comes. So I just made a page for this, so I would go back and look at it and remember what I stored previously. So I think it's gonna help me a lot. And then of course I'm using all the 3 colors to make these circles, and for these points I'm going to write the content or the painting ideas. And since it's for the whole year, I needed a lot of these points, so I'm not leaving much space and doing it side by side. Now for the last page of this setup, I am going to make the calendar page. But before that, I'm of course using this paper to let the paint dry on the previous pages, and of course I have my hands ruined as well. But I guess that goes along with watercolors, especially when you're working with such small or tight painting. Your hands are supposed to be like this, or you didn't work hard enough. Anyways, moving on to the calendar, I'm just going to give it a very simple look. I'm making these lines for the calendar of each month, and you can see a sketched circle beside it. I'm going to write the month name and date on it. So you can paint the circles first and then make these lines, but I did the lines first so the watercolor wouldn't get on my hand anymore and ruin the whole page. So of course there are going to be 12 circles as I did in the previous pages, and I made a mistake. So it wasn't supposed to go this way, so I'm trying to remove the paint and of course continuing. You gotta move on, it's okay, you make mistakes. Anyways, I have made 4 circles for each color, and that is going to be 12 circles total for each month. Also, one more thing which is really important, that your circles doesn't need to be perfect, they just need to look like circles. It's fine, you can't make it perfect or of equal size all the time, but try as best as you can. So once I'm done with the circles, I left it to dry for a little bit before writing this. So instead of writing the numbers, I wrote the month name first, so the paint would dry on the circles a little bit more. Now once I'm done with all the calendars and I definitely know that the paint has dried on these circles, only then am I writing all these dates for the month, and then I'm moving on to the previous page to write the month for each of these bubbles as well. And it's because they have already dried. Make sure that the paint is dried once you're writing on top of it, or it would come on the previous page. Okay guys, here's a flip through and we're coming on to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.